Oh, Penguin's Moist Critical, sorry, just made a video on Legends EA. I kind of want to watch it, chat.
The new Pokemon game just dropped, Pokemon ZA. Even before it released, I was skeptical on how good it would be because everything they showed looked like somehow an even bigger step backwards for the franchise.
I can't lie. It was this video that I think it was Beat 'em Ups that did it, right? He did a video on kind of like pointing out some of the graphical issues and stuff that were there, you know? Like that was something that I watched and I was like, oh, it does look concerning, you know? I think one thing for me that like is making me worried about like getting the game is the one thing I really liked about Arceus was the kind of open world-ish element, but ZA seems very locked into one area. But yeah, in terms of its graphical fidelity, I mean, you got to recognize it is made for the Switch 1, definitely. But there were some things about it I was like, it's not looking very good quality for me, at least.
But I'm always open to being wrong. I don't have a Nintendo Switch 2 and I have no plans on getting one, but Pokemon ZA is on the OG Switch as well. So I decided to tune in to some streamers, watch some gameplay, and see what people are saying about it. And Santa Claus rolled around bearing gifts. People were very excited, but to me it looks like a big old lump of coal. This somehow looks worse than Pokemon Scarlet Violet. This shit looks like my wrinkly nutsack. It is crazy to me.
Chill.
Pokemon being the most profitable IP in the history of our species still doesn't do the bare minimum when it comes to its mainline game entries. I really can't...
Bro. This is the thing, right, with the PTCGL stuff, yeah? PTCGL itself is an example of that. And that's why I was like, I do have minimal hope. Because PTCGL is the smallest branch on the Pokemon tree. The smallest branch on the tree, right? And they're not even doing ZA, by the looks of it, to the standard that it is effectively needed to be for what the company is. So PTCGL is definitely like, yeah, that's why I do have minimal hope for PTCGL. But I mean, it's going somewhere at least, right? I think the community has really pushed that, but yeah, I think that's just Pokemon, right?
Not understand it. Now, if you're enjoying Pokemon ZA, don't let me come in here and fart, toot all over your fun, whatever. Enjoy it. I think that's totally fine. But for me, it has become so incredibly stale to the point that it's almost insulting the lack of care Game Freak puts into these games. Like, there is not only so little innovation, like, I really gave a lot of charity to Arceus, Pokemon Legends Arceus, because it felt like they were going to start trying to push things and do different things. But since then, I just feel like they took their foot off the gas, and everything in Pokemon Legends ZA feels like it's content to just be the same shit, different toilet. So it's not for me, but if you're having fun with it, I think that's great. I'm happy that you're enjoying it and didn't like waste money on something that you ultimately don't like. I'm just giving you my perspective on it. It's a game that I'm very confident I would not enjoy, because it looks like the same fucking game I've now played a million times from Pokemon. It does not look like a game I would enjoy, thus I will be sitting it out. Something that I've been doing recently...
You're on the same vibe? I haven't played ZA yet, so I can't form my own opinion just yet. But one thing I liked about Arceus was it was a breath of fresh air. Was that it was just like something different. You know, and I was like, yeah, that is, for me, enough to warrant me buying the game. I didn't buy Sword and Shield. I didn't buy Legends Arceus. Sorry. What? I didn't buy Scarlet and Violet because it was the same formula that I definitely have been burnt out from for a while. And Legends EA looked, again, at least, look, it looked to still try and innovate in some way. With the battling mechanic and stuff, that looked interesting to me. The UI and aesthetic of ZA is awesome. Execution is rough. Do you think, chat, do you think it's like the Pokemon machine that causes these problems? Is it like everything's like planned out years ahead of time and everything's got to line up perfectly release dates because you have the TCG, the merchandise, the anime, the video game, everything has to line up with its releases. So you can't delay a game, you know what I mean? And they have this just system at play where it's a cycle, so to speak, of game release to like card release to, like, you see what I mean? Is that it's very cyclical. And it seems like the issue is that it's forcing the bare minimum to be achieved because you don't have time to go above that. You know, you don't have time to like really do something different and really like develop and deepen the game, even though they have all the money in the world. I think it's so system based that it's just this big wheel that just keeps on turning and you can't fall behind. Otherwise, everything falls behind. And so they can't fully develop the game into the way that it should be at. But the funny thing is, right? This is what confuses me. Why don't they make a spin-off game? I don't know why they didn't do this with Arceus, so to speak, but make a spin-off game that doesn't require new Pokemon, doesn't require anything actually new that would need to line up with merch release, TCG release, anime. Nothing new, but just make a good game. Like, why not make a spin-off version of Pokemon that kind of follows down the same road as Arceus, but just doesn't have anything new in it? I understand that's kind of like, it makes no sense, because how are you selling the game, right? You've got to have something to sell it. But just, I don't know, you have the money, a side project. Just make a good game in Pokemon and just show us what you're capable of. It doesn't make any sense financially, though. That's the problem.
Is abstaining from forcing myself to play a game just for the sake of playing the new game.
Yeah.
And this, I can already tell I'm not going to enjoy, especially after playing Digimon Storytime Stranger. I'm going to directly compare these two things like it's the fucking late 90s again here.
I've never seen that. I've never heard of that game, actually, to be fair.
Digimon Storytime Stranger is the...
Wait, hold on. I'm like 2 hours in. The game looks like a mix between Scarlet and Arceus. Okay. There's a lot of missed opportunities. The combat system seems like a small evolution of Arceus. Really? I thought that'd be an insane jump. I really did.
Newest Digimon game that came out. And I played it on a whim, not really expecting much. I hadn't been like in the Digimon sphere for well over a decade. I loved Digimon growing up, but I was more of a Pokemon guy. Digimon I always thought had better writing and definitely was darker than Pokemon, but I had always, gravitated more towards the Pokemon IP. But I always appreciated it. And then as I got older, I just stopped paying attention to Digimon. Digimon Storytime Stranger dropped and it was getting a lot of glaze. People were really hyping it up, so I decided to give it a whirl. And the game is actually amazing. Like, this shit turbo slaps. I'm about 5 hours into the game, and I am still learning new mechanics. There is an unbelievable amount of depth min-maxing to this game with so much meat on its bones. And it is everything the Pokemon formula and franchise wishes it could be.
Wow.
Really, what it should be, honestly. The game has voice acting, by the way, which is something Pokemon games still haven't quite cracked the code.
Thank you. This is something that I think is a must in Pokemon games. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm ADHD brain. I got the bonk brain. Okay, listen. I'm not playing a visual novel. Okay, I'm done with that. Voice acting. Please. It makes it so much more immersive because you are just there experiencing it as it is happening. I honestly think voice acting, especially like in the Legends games, because Legends are the side project, right? As I mentioned. Why not voice actors, man? Do you know what it is? It's the time. They're struggling so much with development as it is, right? That they don't have the time to dedicate to that, to recording and processing and editing and putting that all in. And I guarantee they just don't have it because of this machine that keeps turning and it has to be dead on every single year. It's just, I'm telling you, they have a system in place and it's hurting them a lot. Well, their reputation a lot. Not their wallet. People will still buy the games.
On all these years later, the writing is like strangely compelling. Like, it is actually pretty well written with a story that I find myself invested in. Spoilers. The cutscenes go fucking insano style. Within the first hour and a half, a hole tears in the space-time continuum, shattering the fabric of reality as a giant fucking Digimon fist comes through.
I was talking about Digimon. I thought you were talking about Pokemon.
Like the hand of God, and punches a giant mecha machine, which blows us 8 years into the past. It is actually so hype. And there is, like I said, so much depth here. I think there's like 450, 460 Digimon there. But even outside of just the number of Digimon that you convert in this game, you have so many build options for them with mix and matching your equipment, your attachment skills, even changing their personality around to match builds from your agent skills. Like, wow. There is so much to do in this game. Like, the side missions are actually fun. I've only done one so far with the mystery of the missing shirts, but even that was fun. Everything in Digimon Storytime Stranger is what I wish Pokemon would at least attempt to do. It actually feels like an innovation on the formula. It is so refreshing. It also serves to showcase the potential of the genre. Yeah. Something that Pokemon refuses to even attempt to capture.
This is the craziest thing for me about Pokemon in general, right? We're talking about every element of it. Pokemon TCG. That seems to be the thing that is always thrown around when it comes to Pokemon. It's like, the game has so much potential. And it's like, well, it's been out for 20 odd years, really should be achieving it by now with being the biggest franchise in the world. And then TCG Live was that, right? And even to this day, I still talk about TCG Live as having a ton of potential.
Like, it fails to even try to reach like the actual potential that this genre offers. I have been really enjoying Digimon Storytime Stranger, but even if I hadn't played Storytime Stranger, I still wouldn't be playing Pokemon Za. I just don't have interest in playing what appears to me to be another half-baked Pokemon game where, like, its big selling points that are supposed to make people pump their fist are the simplest shit ever, like being able to move during a fight.
Hey, listen, no, listen. Fine, right? But the core Pokemon mechanic is turn-based play, right? That's like that. It's an RPG, right? It's turn-based RPG. It's always been that. I think that is big enough. I see what he's saying. Like, it's not that big of a deal for such a long period of time. But I think for Pokemon in a vacuum, it kind of is. It's like, because you always imagine in your head as a kid the ability to, like, actually, fight like you see in the anime. Like that, I think that's kind of a big deal. You think it's lame? I mean, it's totally valid. I think for me, I understand why it's a big deal. Personally, when I saw that, I was like, that's kind of big. For Pokemon. Obviously, in the grand scheme of gaming, no. I'm just wondering because all the people I know, the reviews online say it's bad. I was going to buy, not over $100. Are they charging are they charging $100 for it? Are they charging the whole big Switch price? I mean, growing up with the manga, that's what I want. Forget the anime, the manga choreography. Yeah, but you see what I mean? So I see where he's coming from at that point, but I don't think I fully agree. Just on that point alone,
Like, if that's really how low the bar is, it's sad. Like, everything I have seen that people are praising for it are the simplest, smallest alterations on the same stale path that it has walked for over a decade now. And I just have no interest in forcing myself to play it and being miserable grinding through the...
That said, I do feel like if I tried it out after a week, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's fine.
10, 20, 30-ish hours that I would put into it. I don't want this video to all just be me, bah humbugging Pokemon Za, because there is another game that I have a very similar feeling of. Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
I think we won't watch the Black Ops stuff because it's not really relative to what we do, but that's interesting. I'm in a weird spot where I'm both like equally hyped, but also equally skeptical of Pokemon ZA. Like, one thing, like I saw some things that made me go, oh, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the idea of it being like all in one place, like in just one city, and that's it. It's taken a lot away from the Arceus idea. It kind of feels a bit claustrophobic to me in concept. I'm mostly surprised how little they pay attention to the only legit way to play the regular TCG app. I mostly wish that it gave the budget and attention of Pocket. Yeah. But this is the thing, right? It's potential. It's that thing I was talking about before, where it's all about potential, right? It's the fact that they have all this money and all these fans, and they have everything behind it, and that gives it a lot of potential to be great. And the card game itself is beautiful. The card game's fantastic, I think. I think the card game is my favorite card game of all time, right? Go figure. Pokemon, I love Pokemon as a franchise and what it represents and all that, but I think they throw the word potential out there because it's just because it's so stale. It's because it's been the same for a long time, which is why I'm not a big Pokemon video game guy. I'm much more of a TCG guy because like every year there's some sort of gimmick or something they introduce that just spices up the game, Rotation, spice it up. There's always something spicing up the TCG, always, and I love that. PTCGL as a client is different, right? That I think that falls into the same issue of just being, again, full of potential, but there's just not enough behind it. They're not putting any money behind it. It's not worth it for them. They just want it to function, and that's really it. I kind of am in the same boat as him, but not fully there. I'll probably still give it a go and play it. Maybe I'll see how the reviews are as things go.